A very good afternoon and thank you for joining us on BeeTv News Update at 3. My name is Harmony Agbafor and now let's get into the news in details. The Edo State Youth Coordinator for Asiwaju 2027, High Chief Lucky Ohimia, has pledged his unwavering allegiance to the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, describing the president as a generational leader whose transformative leadership must be sustained beyond 2027. BeeTv News senior reporter Best Orator reports that Mr. Tarek stated this over last weekend when he addressed a large crowd of people in Owan West local government area of Edo State. The report.
It was a sight to behold in Sabogida Ora, the administrative headquarters of Oman West local government area of Edo State, as an unprecedented mammoth crowd of people trooped to the Palatine Garden residence of High Chief Lucky Ohimia, aka Tares, when the news of his arrival into the town filtered in. The respected APC leader of Oman West and Chief Executive Officer of Tares government.
I be man of the people. Everybody na my own. I don't get any better candidates.
Few months ago, High Chief Lucky Ohimia, aka Tares, was officially appointed youth coordinator for Asiwaju 2027 by Governor Monday Okpebholo. His appointment was no surprise to those who have followed his political trajectory. It was the natural recognition of years of dedication, impact, and visible loyalty to the party and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
Newly appointed technical manager of Bendel Insurance FC, Kennedy Boboye, has arrived in Benin City in readiness for his unveiling a new role. The report.
On arrival in Benin City, Coach Kennedy Boboye was warmly received by the Executive Chairman, Edo State Sports Commission, Honorable Amadi Desmond Nabulele, and top officials of the Commission, as well as the General Manager of the club, Charles Ehimekme. He was immediately taken on a guided tour of facilities at the iconic Samuel Gumida Stadium on Monday by the Chairman of Edo State Sports Commission, Honorable Amadi Desmond Nabulele, and insurance top officials. He was conducted around key facilities, including the main bowl, training pitches, dressing rooms, media center, gym, and the recovery center. The tour marks the beginning of a new chapter for the experienced gaffer, as he has already sealed a 2-year deal with the Benin Arsenals and now in Benin City, ready for the unveiling ceremony scheduled to hold.
The National Assembly is proposing to move the next general election to November 2026, 6 months earlier than the traditional February schedule. This proposal is part of the 2025 Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which was unveiled on Monday during a joint public hearing organized by the Senate and House of Representative Committees on Electoral Matters in Abuja. The bill, which seeks to repeal the 2022 Electoral Act and enact a new Electoral Act 2025, attracted lawmakers, civil society organizations, and other key stakeholders to the one-day public hearing. According to the lawmakers, the proposed adjustment is aimed at ensuring that all election-related litigations are resolved before the constitutionally mandated handover date of May 29. However, they acknowledge that simply moving the election date may not be sufficient unless the judiciary is also strengthened to efficiently handle the high volume of election petitions. If passed, the amendment would mean that Nigeria's presidential and governorship elections could take place in November 2026, approximately 6 months before the end of the current administration's tenure. The Rights Commission has seized Lagos State. The report.
Bookshops in Ikeja, Bariga, Ikorodu, and Ikotun were part of areas raided by the Nigerian Copyright Commission as it embarked on a 3-day operation to curb the excess of pirates.
A1, okay, leave A1, leave A1. Why are you packing up? How can you pack all my books? Wait.
From one bookshop to the other, books pirated and sold to unexpected buyers were found. Director General of the NCC, Dr. John Essien, says the operation is part of ongoing efforts to dismantle piracy networks and protect the nation's creative economy. Copyright infringements are yielding positive results through coordinated operations, including rape, arrest, and persecution of offenders.
For the general public, we want to let them also know that it may appear cheap today, but once you keep feeding piracy, then the cost of books will likely be going up. So what we're going to tell the general public and everyone is that we will not relent and that they should support us.
If these pirated materials are out there, it shows that the books, the publishers will not be able to sell their books and reap where they have sown. Their profit margin will be drastically reduced. So at the end of the day, the publishers will shortchange.
The commission emphasized that piracy remains
within the People's Democratic Party, PDP, appears to be deepening as the party has lost yet another figure to All Progressive Congress. The figure is a key figure. The governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, has officially defected from the PDP to join the ruling APC, marking a defection from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressive Congress. The declaration was made during a stakeholders town hall meeting held at the Government House in Enugu. Elected under the PDP platform, Governor Mba is making the move to the APC alongside members of the State House of Assembly. Local government decision came after extensive reflection and consultation with stakeholders across the state. He stated that the move was driven by the need to better align Enugu State with the federal government, ensuring greater access to national resources and opportunities for development. Governor Umba also commended President Bola Tinubu's administration, noting that Enugu State has already benefited from to strengthen the state's position within the national political landscape.
This state,
the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Mui Aino, has paid an unscheduled visit to healthcare facilities in the Chikara community of Kogi State and the Abaji local government area of the Federal Capital Territory. The visit was aimed at assessing the progress of the ongoing integrated immunization campaign. Dr. Mui Aino, accompanied by the FCT Commissioner for Health and his team, expressed satisfaction with the level of community mobilization observed at some centers. During the visit, he listened to frontline health workers as they highlighted key challenges and gaps in the field. He reaffirmed the safety of the integrated immunization campaign, which includes vaccines for measles, rubella, polio, and HPV, and urged residents of the Chikara community to actively participate. The inspection at Abaji Township Primary Health Center showed encouraging progress with high community awareness and a strong turnout. However, despite the promising indicators, the campaign experienced a relatively slow start in some areas.
There where the team had in fact gone out, and we went to the temporary site and saw that good progress, good planning, very excellent level of awareness within the community. Many of the kids, school children and children that are not yet in school, in fact graduated from school, were all trooping to the place. One thing I would like to say to Nigerians is that don't miss this opportunity. We call this the mother of all campaigns for a reason, because it's unlike previous campaigns. We are combining many different interventions now. For FCT, there's the measles vaccine, the rubella vaccines, the polio vaccine, there's the HPV vaccine, and there are many other vaccines that people have the one-shot opportunity to come and get all at once as is due for them. Not everybody is due to receive everything, but whatever your child or your ward is due, they can come and get it, and we encourage Nigerians to.
The loud cry of Adunai, who dreams of going to school and becoming a teacher, is about to be married off to an older man by her father. Her voice echoed loud in a room filled with students and advocates gathered to mark the International Day of the Girl Child. In 2021, a global monitoring report by UNESCO says 118.5 million girls are out of school globally. In 2022, another report by UNICEF states that 7.6 million girls are out of school in Nigeria, and 4 out of every 10 Nigerian girls are married before the age of 18. The play, which highlights the realities of many young girls today, tells the story of Aduni, 14-year-old girl who defies all odds to get an education. Organizers, advocates, and students using the story of Aduni shared their hope for young girls in Nigeria.
I think in Nigeria we have about 18 million children, boys and girls.
The Host Community Development Trust Fund has reached a total of 373 billion naira, comprising 125 billion naira and $168.9 million. The fund is sourced from oil companies operating under the Petroleum Industry Act, which mandates the allocation of 3% of their annual operating expenditure into the Trust for Host Community Development. Let's join BeeTv News team for more on this and more from the business world.
Currently, 536 community development projects are being implemented across oil-producing areas. Each oil company settlor is required to appoint a board of trustees in consultation with host communities, with registration through the Corporate Affairs Commission. The fund is held in banks with a minimum BBB credit rating and is used to finance infrastructure, education, healthcare, and environmental protection projects. Oversight is managed through a digital platform, Host Comply, which tracks project implementation and fund disbursement in real time. The Nigerian exchange market capitalization increased to 93.8 trillion naira, reflecting a gain of 465 billion naira. The all share index rose to 147,717,000.
Now moving on to the global scenes. Weeks after widespread protests swept Indonesia over the excessive pace of lawmakers, a new allowance raise has unleashed fresh public anger. Lawmakers will now get 702 million rupiah, that is approximately $42,400 and £31,800 in recess allowances, a near double increase from the previous allowance of 400 million rupiah, said the country's Deputy House Speaker. The report.
The recess allowance is meant to support lawmakers carrying out their official duties like visiting constituents when Parliament is not in session. The protests earlier in August were triggered primarily by a $3,000 monthly housing allowance given to lawmakers, nearly 10 times the minimum wage in Jakarta. These were later cut in a bid to quell anger. August protests began after thousands demonstrated against the housing allowances for MPS, but they soon spilled into a wider protest over corruption and economic inequality in Southeast Asia's largest economy. And now, news of the latest recess allowance hike, which kicked in on October 3rd, has renewed controversy around this. Indonesia lawmakers take around 5 recesses a year, during which they visit their electoral districts and gather feedback from residents. The hike in recess allowance is meant to match the increased activities by lawmakers during their recesses. Sofmi Dasko Ahmad told reporters on Saturday. He told Reuters that the previous allowance did not take into account the rise in food and transport prices. Dasko also said on Monday that the House of Representatives would release a publicly accessible...
Now into the entertainment scenes. Nigerian singer Tiwa Savage disclosed that she once declined a private jet offer from a politician during her pregnancy. The gesture was arranged to fly her for convenience, but she turned it down due to personal discomfort with the nature of the offer. Let's join BeeTv News' Evelyn Izibili for details on this and more from the entertainment world.
She also revealed that she previously returned a brand new Range Rover gifted to her on her birthday. The vehicle arrived on the same day her then partner proposed, prompting her to reject it to avoid conflict or discomfort. Tiwa Savage shared these experiences while reflecting on the pressures of fame and the importance of setting boundaries. She emphasized personal values and integrity in navigating fame, highlighting the challenges artists, particularly women, face in maintaining self-respect within the entertainment industry. In another development, veteran Nollywood actress Rita Edochie issued a public message emphasizing the critical role of women in determining the success or failure of men, particularly within family and marital settings. She described women as spiritual and virtuous figures with the power